Hi, Jeremy.
Mr. Metal God, how are you?
I'm very good, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. It's so cool to see you and meet you and see you in all your glory.
Well, thank you so much, and I send all that love back to you. It's great to Zoom together.
Yeah, this is
I'm a Zoomer. I'm a zooming metal god these days.
Who'd have thought, right? You know, the world gone to
Yeah,
shit.
who'd have thought it? But it's great, man, especially in these troubled times. This is just a beautiful way to meet friends and to talk about what we've all got going on in our respective lives and in your metal gods world right now with all this happening. It's good stuff.
That's it, man. Well, I'll do a quick introduction and we'll get right into it.
The Jeremy White Podcast.
With Bustan. For the best Lebanese cuisine in Montreal, it's got to be Bustan. Visit bustan.ca.
Watch the Jeremy White Podcast exclusively on YouTube.
Our next guest is a wonderful heavy metal singer. His new autobiography is titled Confess, and that's exactly what he does. Please welcome the metal god himself, Mr. Rob Halford. How you doing?
Hey, Jeremy. What's up, man?
We were just
Hi,
chatting.
everybody.
We were just chatting off
Good
air,
to
and you
see
said
you.
that you're the zooming metal god now. So
Zooming metal god. Yeah. Who knew? Who knew? But it's good, man. It's good. This is a great way to stay connected and keep everybody up to speed with what's
no, totally.
what's going on in this guy's life.
Yeah, well, that's it. What have you been up to aside from promoting the book? I was reading in your book that you're sort of like a big fan of the Queen and the Royal Highness and the royal family. Are you?
Yeah.
It's weird because I can't picture you just chilling at home watching The Crown or having a tea to Downton Abbey or something. You know?
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's what's that's the some of the fun elements of this book. You know, I think in the journey that I've been so incredibly grateful to have been placed on in my life, the bulk of it through our beautiful metal maniacs for Priest that have given us so much, looking after us and everything. These are some of the things that have happened to me outside of Priest, and they all tie into the timeline of my life, and meeting Her Majesty was definitely a highlight. And on the Netflix side of things, yes, I can't wait for the next season of The Crown because I want to see what's going on next.
It was so good. When they brought in that new actress to play the Queen, I was kind of like, I don't know if it's going to work. And she was awesome. So.
Oh, she's brilliant. She's a British treasure.
Yeah.
It's very difficult because, the royal family is revered, and to get somebody to play that role is quite a remarkable achievement. She's nailing it, definitely.
I was reading in the book and I was really cracking up specifically at one story, and it was the Japan hotel room service and the guy bowing with his apology over and over. And I was just picturing it in my mind. You stand there just like trying to hold it together. And
oh my God.
Dude,
yeah. We love Japan. Japan is such a special country, and the people are so courteous over there. And even in that extreme moment, there was still some beautiful civility, which we desperately need in today's world.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
No, I was just cracking up, like sitting there reading it, and I'm like, and you're talking about, and you're describing the guy, like just bowing profusely, saying, I'm sorry. And you're like, it's like a slapstick comedy bit or something. And I just thought it was hilarious.
It's so cool to hear you say that and to know it's given you such good vibes. And many people have been saying that the whole way of reading this book is just like a conversation between me and you.
Dude,
you're
totally.
reading it like it's us talking, and the props have to be thrown right back to Ian Gittins, who's become my confessor,
right?
Because he did a remarkable job of putting my character onto the pages.
You didn't go into like a confession booth and do it the right way, did you?
Well, my confession booths were my kitchen in Phoenix and my kitchen in Warsaw, in the home country.
Nice.
So it's amazing, isn't it? I don't know what to say for you, Jeremy, but a lot of good things happen in kitchens. I think it's because it's where we eat and everything and make food, and it's a great place to relax, And I think that's what Ian was setting for me, the tone. Even though we got through some darker moments together, when you do stuff in the kitchen, you just feel cozy, and that definitely got things out of me.
Yeah, no, totally. Makes you feel comfortable, and you can really open up and, get things out of you, In the book, you were talking about punk rock and heavy metal in the late 70s, and you went to see the Sex Pistols, and you said you liked them, but the quote was, it was never going to last, and it didn't. So I want to know, to you, what's the difference between punk and heavy metal, and why did one work and the other didn't? I mean, obviously, it did plant the seed for British Steel in a way.
Yeah, there's a lot of great things came out of that whole movement. I think my overview at the time was that because of its dangerous attitude, which was initially that anybody could be in a band and anybody can go up on stage and make music, and that, of course, is false. You can't. You need to be able to play your instrument.
Yeah.
Even though Sid Vicious couldn't play a note, I admired that. I admired that because if that isn't punk, I don't know what is.
Yeah, exactly.
But when you talk about what Steve did, and you'll have to help me, Jeremy. Who was the drummer in the Sex Pistols? I can't remember now.
Oh man, he played in Man Rays with Phil Collin recently. Paul Cook.
He's a great drummer. Yes, Paul Cook.
Yeah.
I think yes. So at least you had two established singers, and even Johnny Rotten had a pretty characteristic voice.
Yeah.
But their whole attitude was crash and burn. You know, that their movement was superfluous to some extent in terms of longevity, and that's why it didn't really extend that far. But that's not to dismiss it, because that album, Never Mind the Bollocks, still has some great songs on there, you know. And when I did see them play, it was heavy to me, man. It was a heavy experience.
Yeah.
So there it is. But I think the parallels with metal are pretty small, you know. I admired. I'd say one of the greatest punk bands ever was the Ramones, and there's a debate about whether the Ramones were punk or new wave or whatever.
Right. I
think they were the epitome of an amazing punk band, and their concise songs. Some songs are like 30 seconds long. You know what they did, and what Tom Allen got out of us for the British Steel sessions around the time of that punk new wave movement was just strip everything down to its bare minimum.
Yeah.
And get the point across, breaking the law 3 minutes and change, which is light years away from Loch Ness, which is about 4 days long, you know. So that's the fun that I think that they brought to the way we thought about music at that time.
And if you look at the songs on British Steel, specifically, I talk about that record because it's one of my favorite albums of all time. You know, as a teenager going through high school, I was discovering rock and metal. Everybody else was listening to pop music and house and dance, and me and my best friend, that's what we were gravitated towards. And now that I work in pop radio and I have all this experience, when I listen to that album now, I realize, and you just touched on it, you were able to really create these concise, really good songs within a certain time span. Would you consider them pop songs?
Well, that's an interesting concept. My gut reaction would be a resounding, no, they're not. But I understand the idea of your question. And I think that the closest that we could have got to that would have been taking this song, Breaking the Law, as an example, or even Living After Midnight.
Right.
You know, the elements of pop are pretty remarkable. They're so diverse. To a great extent, so is metal, the way it's grown and blossomed into various formats.
Yeah, totally.
But to me, it's all about hooks and melodies, riffs, the message, you know, and how you correlate all of those principles into a piece of music. Mm-hmm. You know, the masters of that were the Beatles. When you think about it,
yeah,
you know, that they were just hitting you with 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes and change of something that was absolutely glorious. But it's a good discussion, definitely.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about some of the other personal stuff, like in the book. I gotta say, you know, looking at this book, being 26 years old, you know, I'm kind of leaning, you know, like I date women, I don't go out with dudes, but I fooled around with some buddies and stuff. And looking at this book from a 2020 guy perspective, and reading some of the stories and what you had to go through just sort of on the DL, you know, being one of the biggest singers in the world and still having to hop in a cab and go to a glory hole at a truck stop in the middle of butt-fuck nowhere, for lack of a better term.
Yep.
You know,
yep.
I just felt so bad reading this because in 2020, if you'd come out, you'd be celebrated. Whereas at the time, and the quote was, you said you felt guilty even about, you know, having gay porn in your flight cases and stuff like that. So, and you did it to really make sure the band didn't get affected by it. But now looking back, do you think that it would have affected the band had you come out?
Yeah, I think it would have.
Yeah.
I think it would have, just because it was a different time, different climate, socially, politically. Wow, those were some heavy moments, in the 70s for people like myself. Back home in the UK, we were being thrown in jail. You were caught in a toilet or whatever because you desperately needed some kind of intimate experience, and you're thrown in jail for months. It just seems inconceivable. Yeah,
because thinking about it now in 2020, it's like I looking back at it, it's just so medieval.
It's exactly, man. It totally was. So you pile all that on everything else, and here I am in this glorious heavy metal band that's making incredible headway into success and picking up fans all over the world. And it was a major concern, not just from me, but I think from everybody else. There was a worry that if this had hit the press and that had run with it, it could have done irreparable damage, and we were not going to take that risk. I certainly wasn't going to take that risk for my band, and so all of that extreme mental stuff is clearly discussed in detail in the book. And for someone like yourself, Jeremy, a 26-year-old guy that's had some of those experiences, I'm sure you can relate. And again, this book is for everybody. This book is for everybody in and out of the metal world. Yeah. And I think this is the beautiful way that Ian has been able to really structure the book on a multifaceted level.
No, totally. And, talking about that, I've always been curious, and I love that I have you and I can ask you this question. Why do you think the metal community is so homophobic? And I ask that because, to a major population and a major portion of the fan base, you're immediately called a fag or you're called gay, even if you hint at you like a pop song or you like something that's not, or anything that isn't metal in general. Why do you think that is? And why do you think the metal community is just such a close-minded people?
Well, I think you and I are going to have an interesting, different point of view here, because it was my revelation and understanding, particularly when I came out in 98, or was it 98, 96, whatever, was that all of my built-in worry about being rejected came from a metal community that was just the opposite. Metal in its essence has always been a very, very kind of inclusive experience to people that know what metal is about. It's not just the music; it's a community,
right?
And it was my misconception that there would be a massive pushback to me as a gay man coming out in metal. And I found that to be just the opposite. Having said that, yeah, there were some people that don't like people like me, my sexual identity at least, and that's for them to deal with. There's nothing I've got no control over that.
Right.
All I can do is speak out against that and support the rest of us that do openly bring everybody in inclusively, unconditionally into the metal world. And I think that for the most part now, the metal community is more caring and tolerant and understanding of people from all different sexual identities. It's not 100% spot on, that's life. That's life. People are people. I mean, I know for a fact that there are people that are into Priest and love what the band does, but they don't particularly like me for my identity, but they still accept the band and they still accept my music.
Yeah.
Hey, that's great.
Yeah.
It's like
It's
Republican, awesome. Democrat, Labour, Tory.
Yeah.
It's all that. It's all about accepting each other's differences, but not letting it do any damage.
Yeah. It blows my mind how, even now it's like people are just so obsessed with who somebody's laying in bed next to,
That's the world we live in. I'm a 69-year-old metalhead. You're 26, and the vast difference that you and I can talk about in the way the world has changed can't be overstated. That's for a fact.
No, totally. Before we run out of time, I just wanted to ask you, a lot of fans have asked me to bring this up. Is there going to be a 30th anniversary edition of Painkiller? Maybe bundle that with demos, a live show, maybe from 90, 91. You got my money.
Yeah, we're looking at all the opportunities. I tell you that sort of stuff creeps up on you, Jeremy.
Yeah.
I've got my social media. I'm on my Instagram various times throughout the day at Rob Halford Legacy.
Good plug.
I've just clipped in 562,000 followers today, which is beautiful.
Wow, look at you.
I'm so excited for all of us that because it's a great community. We're always DMing and staying in touch with each other. So what I'm saying is that suddenly I'll see a follower go, "Hey, it's the 40th anniversary of this record or the 20th," and I'm going, "What? Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
These kind of things creep up on you, but Painkiller is a very special album to Priest and to the metal world for everything that it stands for and achieved and still gives to people. And we're aware of that. So we as a band and management and the label, we're always looking at opportunities to celebrate these milestones. And so we just direct everybody to the main Priest accounts on Instagram and Facebook and whatever, your Twitter. And that's where all the news is. But yeah, there's definitely going to be some kind of a party.
Yeah, that record is so good. I mean, first of all, just really quick, talk about Scott Travis, and it's his first album with the band. He comes in. Was it a conscious decision within the band to say, "Listen, we got a new dude hitting the drums. We need to make a major statement," and boom, we got this iconic drum intro on Painkiller? Was that a conscious decision, or did it just happen organically like that?
Happened organically. Yeah, we were writing all of the songs for the record. We finished doing all the writing, and then in the album world, making albums, which we still do as a band, we make records which are called albums, which take you through the songs that we represent ourselves with at that time, whatever we're doing. This Painkiller track, which ended up being a title track. And sometimes a title track doesn't necessarily have to lead the record off. But it just felt such a potent statement. In all of the songs that we'd written, we felt that this had so much to say, and that because it needed this kind of extraordinary opening, drums instead of screaming voice or wailing guitars, we thought, let's go for it, And what a great way to introduce Scott for the first time, as he was then with Priest, with that particular record. It still lights up the room whenever we play Painkiller live, and Scott's there by himself on the stage to do that opening thing. Mm-hmm. Fans go absolutely nuts. It's a bit of metal iconography right there. Yeah, he's an amazing drummer.
Yeah, it's sort of like a call, like, "Hey, we're going to war, everybody. Let's do it."
Yeah. Because you know what's coming next.
Yeah,
you know what's going to come next in that song. The Scott, and then Glenn leads it off, and then it's just like shit pandemonium hell for all of the metal that's running past your ears. Yeah, it's a glorious statement. Yeah.
Well, aside from that, Rob Halford confessed. The book is available now. I don't know how much time we had. They didn't tell me, but I figured we're going to have to wrap it up soon. So make sure you go and get this. I bought the physical copy. I went to the bookstore. I got this, and I got Mariah Carey's autobiography. So I'm reading you.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
And Mariah.
We came out. We were launched on the same day. And I was like, oh, bitch, what? And that's one side to me. And then I'm going, I love Mariah because she has the most extraordinary, beautiful voice. She's such a strong presence. And so I just wonder whether or not she knows that my book came out. Probably not. I need to send her a copy,
Yeah, send her a copy. It would have been
to
funny.
Meet me with love. To meet me with love.
It would have been funny if, without this COVID-19 crap, if you guys could have done like a book launch party together.
I would have done that in New York City. Absolutely. Me and Mariah and the Metal God. There's a record waiting to be made.
That is the ultimate collaboration, cross-pollination.
Wouldn't it be cool? Yeah. maybe for Christmas we'll have a heavy. She's got this fabulous Christmas song that comes around. Maybe we should rework that to make it a bit more metal, and I'll guest on it.
Well, November 5th is today. She's probably just about to come out of storage to start singing that song. So
yeah, sounds about right.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Yeah. Judas Priest doing a cover of "All I Want for Christmas" by Mariah.
Hey, you never know. Crazy things happen. When we had that wonderful 3-song get together with Stock Aitken and Waterman, we covered that stylistic song, "You Are Everything."
Oh yeah.
And if you know "You Are Everything," you hear the Priest version of that, which is hidden away in a vault somewhere.
Really?
It's just beautiful, man. It's just a great homage to that song. And another example of a good song will take any kind of treatment, like the way Priest treated Diamonds and Rust by John Baez, which is originally just John and acoustic guitar. Yeah. A good song will take any treatment. The stylistics, "You Are Everything" is another good example of that. So who knows? Priest and Mariah.
You got my money. You and Richie Faulkner, you guys doing some new music? When's the follow-up to Firepower coming?
Yeah, we're doing it. Yeah, we had some great writing sessions early on this year before the world closed down.
Right.
Got a lot of work done, loads and loads of material, some great songs. We'll have probably 1 or 2 more writing sessions. But right now, we're in a great place. We should be on the road on our 50th anniversary. We were going to come up to Canada and see everybody and go around the world. But that's been put on hold now until next year. So we've got a lot of catching up to do. Yeah. We've got more shows to do to see our beautiful fans who we miss so desperately. And make another record. So the metal future for Priest is strong and heavy, man.
I love it. Well, we have a bit of a connection because I got Claudio Bergaman, who did your artwork for Firepower, do my artwork for my podcast. So
isn't he great?
He's fantastic. Yeah. Next album, you got to get Claudio. He's so good.
He's such a great artist, and he did incredible work for that Firepower record for us, and we had so much love for that work from Claudio. He's a great guy. Yeah,
I love it. Well, you've said it all, Mr. Metal God. I love it. Next time you're in Montreal, we need to meet. That'd be awesome.
We'll have some. What's the current traditional fare? In because I love to eat, because I don't drink and drive.
You know what?
Food is I love the addiction
listen,
to foods.
Next time you're in Montreal, get my number from somebody. I'll take you out and I'll show you the culinary world of Montreal.
That would be great.
I will bring you to the best places. I know everybody, and we'll get treated like royalty. So if you want to,
that sounds like a deal. I'm up for it. Let's do it, bro.
Awesome.
Definitely. Thank you, Jeremy.
Well, there you go. Rob Halford, Confess. It's an autobiography, and boy, does he ever confess. You are going to love this. Get it right now. It's hardcover, too, which I like. Good stuff. Hard. Rob Halford.
That's me. All the best, Jeremy.
All right.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all that stuff, and look after yourself, and I hope I'll see you in 2021.
Yeah, hopefully. Thanks a lot for chatting. Appreciate it, and it's great to meet you. This was so cool.
Nice to meet you too. We'll be in the flesh next time.
Yeah, I'd love that. All right, we'll see you soon.
See you later. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Wow, how cool was that? How cool is that? The metal god, Rob Halford. It's amazing. His book is called Confess. Like I've said it a million times, you need to get this. This book is the shit, okay? It's so good. Go to your bookstore, buy it online, do whatever you got to do. But the tales he tells in this are phenomenal. And I tell you, you're going to see him in a completely different light if you get this. It's fantastic. So anyways, my thanks to Rob Halford. Thanks a lot for taking some time to chat. Appreciate that. Thanks a lot to Hachette Books for setting up this interview. And man, what I went through to try and get this interview set up. So, Melanie, thank you. You were awesome. You were the man. All right, Rob Halford, Confess. We'll be back next week with another episode. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Jeremy White Podcast on YouTube, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe. You know the deal. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you later.